さて
What is going on, guys? Welcome to part 3 of my Beerus guide. Today we are going to be doing two things. We are going to be talking about certain type of character matchups. Characters that don't really have Ki Blasts, characters that have multi-Ki Blasts, characters that have beams, and characters that have Lariats that go through the orbs, and how I like to play those matchups. And then the final thing we are going to do is we are going to show you guys some combos. Some basic ones, some more advanced ones. Some I recommend, some I don't recommend. But in general, there should be a little bit for anybody. And when we do get to those combos, in case you guys are wondering where all of the really fancy, crazy combos, well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to send you guys over to Talios' Twitter, and I'm going to put that in the description. So anyways, moving on, let's go talk about these types of specific matchups. Alright, let's start first with the one that's going to have the easiest matchup. That's right, we're talking about the Bardoks, the Piccolos of the world, that only have 1 to no Ki Blast, no Lariat that goes through orbs, and no beam of any kind. So what do you do as Beerus into these matchups? That's all. Summon an orb or two. Just stand there. Watch as they do what they can and just run right into the orbs. Watch them toss out what little Ki Blasts they have, trying to get through them. And then you just laugh. There really isn't much they can do in this matchup. So they can call an assist, they can super dash, but those are basically the only options they have in this matchup. So for the most part, all you gotta do is either use an assist or find time to try and set up 6 orbs, or even if you can't do that, there's a good old IED back plus EX for a couple of orbs, or even just 1 orb to tie with the 1 Ki Blast, and you'll probably be able to get away with it anyways. So if you get 6 orbs and they're on the other side of the screen, just laugh, hang out, maybe go read a book or something. Make sure to recharge them every once in a while, and just watch them struggle. Maybe do IED back, kick some orbs every once in a while, threaten the hit, threaten a bit of chip damage. But that's pretty much all you gotta do in this matchup. It's pretty easy. It's very heavily in favor of Beerus. Just gotta set up some orbs, and then just laugh at their misery. It's a good time. But then we immediately go from a really easy matchup to not quite as easy. Let's talk about characters that have multiple Ki Blasts. So, against multiple Ki Blasts, what does that mean? It basically means that when you're trying to summon up your orbs, they can go through them, and the second Beerus blocks one, all your orbs are gone. So suddenly this matchup gets a lot more difficult when they can toss out more Ki Blasts than your orbs can protect you with. But there is another way around that, of course, and we talked about this earlier. It's the fact that you can reflect and then 2M and punish them. So you have that as an option. But the main thing when it comes to using your orbs into this matchup, though, is making sure you don't do it when there is a clear chance that they are going to start firing Ki Blasts at you. If they're just sitting on the ground staring at you, unless you have an assist to call out to try and body block it in some way, just going for the 6 orbs is not the way to go. Because not only could you be punished by them just tossing out Ki Blasts, even if they do just toss out Ki Blasts, odds are you're going to lose your orbs either way, whether you get punished for it or not. So looking for a safe way to do it, either by body block assists, them being up in the air, doing that to set up orbs is a really good thing, or doing an IED back orb to see if they are going to be doing a lot of Ki Blasts. If they are going to be doing a lot of Ki Blasts and you see them going for that the second you jump back in orbs, you can start looking at trying to do orbs up in the air. And if you do the orbs up in the air, their grounded Ki Blasts aren't going to work as much, and then you can try and jump up and catch them for doing it. Or if you jump up in the air and call an orb, you can immediately super dash afterwards and try and catch them firing Ki Blasts to try and catch you hitting the ground. So you have those all as options as well. But typically when it comes to characters with multiple Ki Blasts, if you get the 6 orbs up safely, either with them being in the air or calling an assist, they will tend to try and just go into Ki Blast, and that's when you can start looking for the Reflect 2M or a Jump Super Dash or just a regular Super Dash instead, and look to punish them for trying to use them. And the second you get them scared, to try to do those ki blasts is when you can start getting your orb pressure going, where you can start doing a lot of kicks and just to get more orbs and then rinse and repeat. Basically, you want to get them scared to try anything, and that lets you control the game, even though they do have the ability to go through your orbs. Now time for the one thing Beerus players hate most besides Super Dash. Beams. Now, why do we hate beams so much? Well, at least when it comes to Ki Blast characters, one Ki Blast will at least tie with orbs, so you'd fire multiple Ki Blasts, you'd have a chance to block, maybe reflect 2M, things like that. But with beams, however, it doesn't really matter how many orbs you have set up. The beam kind of just goes right through them. So how do we deal with that? Unfortunately, there isn't one simple answer because of the fact that if a character has a beam, as soon as they see you set up the orbs, if you find time to do it, or in general, orbs in general, I guess, people try to do one of two things if they have beams as an option. They're either going to throw out a beam and try and take them all out, or they are going to super dash to try and just go through them. Basically, it's the go-to thing that every person tries to do if you're playing a character like Goku, for instance. Goku, Lab Code, basically any of the Gokus, Tien, all these characters with beams. So what do we do, and what's the way to beat it? Well, of course, when it comes to Super Dash, it's just a good old 2H. But when it comes to beams, slightly more complicated, but the idea is you want to try and either get your opponent locked down with orbs first, where if they're stuck and you fire orbs, then if they don't have the chance to fire the beams, then they will never actually come out. So that way you will never have to worry about them. But if they do, you want to try to be able to to get around them. So you have the orbs and then go for the beam. You want to try and be over the beam, be it the diagonal beams of characters like Cell, GT Goku, UI Goku, the straight beams like the Super Saiyan Gokus. You want to try and be able to get around them first. And then you can go for a Super Dash and punish. And that's basically the mind game of the beam matchup. You want to either get them locked down before they can start throwing out beams, or you want to be able to get around the beams and try to punish them. Those are basically the two go-to moves to beat beams. And the second you start beating them, same thing as the Ki Blast. Once they start seeing you beating their option that they want to do, they are going to start thinking about other things they can do. That's why they're either going to start doing Super Dash, start firing Ki Blasts, or they're just going to just try and play patient and wait for you. And the second they start waiting, you win. And that's basically the game plan there. You want to take their best option that they think they can do to beat you, flip it against them, use that to get the hit instead, and then suddenly her mind starts panicking because they no longer know what to do. And the second they don't know what to do, it's the second you win, you start controlling the game even against characters that you should not be able to do that against. And that's what makes Beerus Neutral so crazy, and that's why even though our neutral game is literally only Ki Blasts, we can beat these characters that fire nothing but beams at us. Alright, you guys may call me crazy for this, but this is my favorite matchup to win. Not my favorite matchup to play, but my favorite matchup to win. And what I mean by that, I mean the characters that have Lariots that just say ignores everything. And what I mean by that, the Gut Punch. The little moves that say ignore Ki Blast, beams, and assist. The moves that say auto win neutral, ignore everything once. The one that literally just says we beat orbs. So what does Beerus do when you're up against someone who literally has a move that just says we beat orbs? Well, you jump. And what do you mean by jump? I mean that quite literally. They go up and punch, and you jump. You jump, they run to the orbs. And you're probably saying, Zane, come on, dude. They ran to the orbs, but what does that do? They just did it, then everything just resets, you're just going to do it again. And I'm like, true. But what you do after you jump, that makes it all the better. What I mean by that is you have two options. You can jump and kick, or jump and super dash. If you jump and kick, you kick the orb, you get the added hit stun, and you get the full combo. Same thing if you do super dash. They run at you, they punch, do super dash, and you get the full combo. Either way, they run right into the orbs for you. You don't even need to send them at them. They will get themselves hit, and if you can confirm that hit, you get a full combo basically for free because they decided they have the auto win button, so they're just going to do your job for you. And that's why it's my favorite matchup to win, because you don't even have to overthink it. You just set up the orbs and watch them kill themselves. And isn't that what we all want? Just to not have to stress, not have to worry, just watch as they hit themselves instead. And that is the beauty of this matchup. Annoying at some times, so it's not the most fun one to fight. But whenever you win it though, it is a beautiful thing. And that'll just about do it. That is the end of my guide, so thank you guys very much for watching this guide. I appreciate it. I know I taught a lot about many different things. Hope you guys learned a thing or two from it. If there's any questions you guys might have, make sure to let me know down in the comments below. We are going to be sending you guys off with some combos done with Beerus, some easier ones, some more difficult ones, some I would recommend you doing, some more advanced ones you can do if you're just trying to show off a little bit. Like I mentioned before, if you're looking for the really crazy stuff, check out Guy on Twitter. Link will be down in the description below. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Until next time, I will talk to you guys later. Beerus, take it away.
強めに行くな。